Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Milsim Units podcast. We are here for episode number 7 with the U.S. Army Special Operations Command, USASOC. Tonight on our guest panel, we have Captain Booby Hill,
Everyone, thanks for having us.
First Lieutenant Potatoes,
Hello.
and First Sergeant the Frog.
Hey everyone, thanks for having us. Excited to be here.
I'm your host, C. Brock, and you'll have to excuse me tonight. I'm getting over a little bit of a cold lingering from the holidays, but excited to get back in the studios and get this up-and-coming group, kind of on the stage and at the forefront of the Milsim Unis community. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it, gentlemen. So as always, I'm curious about each of your backgrounds in Milsim and your motivation to start and to participate in SOC. So can you tell me how did each of you guys get started in Milsim Ops and in the community?
I'll go first if you guys don't care. Um, well, I started milsimming probably about 10 years ago. I started in like Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4. Um, it grew into Arma 3. I didn't really do that very long. Um, but I enjoyed it. And then when Reforger came out, I was just looking for a to play with and like to play conflict with specifically because I really like the PvP of this game, and there just really wasn't anything out there that I was looking for, so figured I would just start it.
How about you, LT?
Um, I first started kind of originally playing Halo Reach in the Clannon scene, and then I kind of transferred over to DayZ, started playing that a bunch, and then I started making a handful of like clan bases on like servers and stuff, running the small groups, maybe like 10, 15 people maximum. But that was pretty fun. We'd run it like we would set up like Arma servers almost, like remove the zombies and just do like pure conflict, like tribal warfare basically. And then Arma Reforger came out, hopped on here, started just running small groups with my friends. Then I met Hill one day, and then we kind of hit it off, started doing good stuff together, and then we kind of decided we wanted to start something like this.
Gotcha, that sounds like fun. Now, how about you, First Sergeant? How did you get started?
My path is a little interesting. I recently just started playing Arma about a year ago. I joined the 75th. Loved the 75th. They were great to me, but one of my COs had a falling out, so I kind of followed him on his path, and we started our own milsim, which I eventually took control of. Actually, Bobby Hill was in our milsim as well. But I just kind of grew bored of it. I loved the PvP side. I wasn't huge on the PvE side. And Hill came to me one day after our Milsim, kind of fell apart because everyone was just a little bored, with the PvE stuff. And he's like, "Hey, I'm going to start a PvP Milsim. You in?" I'm like, "Yeah, that sounds great." So that's where I'm at now.
Hmm. So that's interesting. It's each of you has a little bit different kind of track in your experience going back. I mean, we got 10 years. That's a long time, Milsimmer. I swear. I know guys who've been playing for longer, but they most of them have gray hair at this point. But either way, you guys have a variety, really a pretty good depth of experience in your respective roles. Coming up. Now, I mean, you're all in Armor Reforger. It's kind of like the next evolution, like we were talking about before the start. I mean, it's exploding. It's exploding again. The future is wide open for Bohemia. With the Armor 4 release date projected 2 years from now. A lot of excitement across the community, and there's a bunch of other games that are up and coming as well. So. I'm interested in kind of unraveling a little bit more of your kind of perspectives and your insights as we get further into the podcast here tonight. But again, I'm curious about SOC. How did you guys get started with that? Tell me about your history and what's the story behind the formation.
Okay. Well, I was in the army, so I wanted something that I knew quite a bit about and had knowledge on. I didn't want to just go and start like a Marine Corps unit where I know absolutely nothing. So I took the rank structure and all the knowledge that I had, which I went and did about 6 months of research as well on a lot of the special forces units specifically. Um, so that way everything that is within is actually, close. Like we're not like a role play. We're a realism unit, but we keep our realism in how we play. So, and the way like our Discord is set up at the same time. So that's really where it was a comfortable spot, I guess. So I just knew a lot of information about the army and just decided to go with it, honestly.
Hmm. Yeah, I noticed on your Discord. Well, first up, you got the Delta Force insignia there as your Discord avatar. I thought that was pretty cool. But I noticed you got the rank structures. So you're not. I take it you're not like running around in missions, calling each other by rank and name and all that. But you do have a defined leadership or an ORBAT, if you will, with officers, senior enlisted and junior enlisted. Now, as far as the immersion goes, I mean, you said you're primarily, interested in PvP, which is, and I have to say, in Milsim, it's kind of rare. A lot of guys, I don't know if they're just running potato computers or they're just not that good, but a lot of guys, they're a little bit tense when it comes to PvP. So, how does that translate into your gameplay and your experience? I mean, what does a typical event look like for you?
I'll let one of you guys answer this if you want.
So normally we get around a 6 to 8 people on, and we either decide like sometimes we'll take a two or maybe three Humvees out. We'll go terrorize the back line in I forget what the game mode's called, but it's the one where you take all the points and
Conflict.
then yep, conflict. You take all the points and then you run supplies up to them. What we like to do is towards the beginning of the match, we'll spawn two Humvees, load all the really good armor piercing ammo into one, and then we'll just drive back to the back line, kill all their transport trucks that are coming up, and then start camping their helicopters when they spawn. And then we do that for a while. And then
Wow.
sometimes, depending on
Excuse me.
what's happening, like if the Russians start taking over a bunch of the map, we'll try to respond as best we can. There was one time we were basically in a constant firefight at Lumber Mill, and we were basically engaged for 45 minutes straight. It was insane.
Mm. Yeah, that sounds pretty intense. So it sounds like legit. You guys are running an ODA, just kicking ass in conflict behind the lines, hitting the Russians in the ass, and just tearing it up as best you can.
We try.
Yeah, we're once our plan is to grow bigger and we're gonna run like the entire combined arms operations. If, with helicopters, etc. Right now that's why we're just like looking for people, but it also just depends. Sometimes we get on and just want to do specific things. So it really just depends on how the game is already at too. If we load in and we're getting our asses kicked, we're just gonna go and kick their ass and catch our team back up, and then we'll go off and do a side mission or do whatever just for fun.
Hmm.
And to dive in just a little bit more in depth with that, usually when Potatoes will take his squad and kind of, you know, counter raid the enemy, while I'll take my squad. I have a pilot that's pretty dang good, and he'll drop us off on objectives, and we'll take objectives behind Potatoes' squad, so they can't really get to us with their own helicopters, you know.
Yeah, that's pretty badass. Now, I noticed on your Discord that in addition to your ops, your PvP events and such, whether it's conflict or on another another public or private event, you also have training events in schools. So, how do you incorporate the training into your gameplay?
So a lot of people are new to the game. I mean, especially over this past month of people getting it for the like, Christmas and stuff. You have a lot of new players who just don't know. I mean, I've seen people on like the Facebook pages say they don't even know how to shoot their gun. So we like to get them in on like a private server and just walk them through the basics of the game. A lot of people, our trainings aren't normal like some other units where you go through and it's like just kind of like a school. Ours is more of a, we teach you to play the game. We'll teach you conflict and how everything works in conflict, like with the radio towers, etc. Somebody will pick a role, and then we teach them that role, like in depth, but we require all of our PvP players to learn every role because we expect everyone to be like a do-it-all man, so you should be able to pick up a machine gun or be a medic or be a grenadier. So, and all of that is taught as well because you don't want people team killing. We're really strict on the team killing, and so we don't want somebody noob tubing our friendlies as they're trying to assault a point. So we really just teach people how to use the basics and when to use them and things like that. That's really where our trainings go.
Another thing we incorporate in our trainings is we focus on in-game stuff. A lot of the Milsim units, they'll focus on like they'll go through like an actual handbook issued by the actual army in real life. A lot of that stuff does apply to the game, but if I'm teaching a jungle school, I don't need my people to know to change their socks every time they step in water. We like to focus a lot more on in-game strategies and things that work in the game. Not necessarily real life. I mean, some of the stuff in real life does incorporate in the game. It is a very realistic game, but we focus more on making our soldiers as best they can be in the game.
Yep. So keeping it relevant, keeping it real, and just trying to bring out the best as far as the team's capabilities. I mean, that's a very special forces way of doing things to get everybody up to speed and qualified on every position. Every single billet on the team. Despite focusing on their particular specialty. So I take it, you got room for both experienced players and new players coming into Reforger.
Yes,
Absolutely.
we
Absolutely.
we love our experienced players, but if you're new, we will gladly take you. We'll gladly try to teach you how to play the game and all that, and we'll try to get you as good as you can be.
Excellent.
We are PlayStation friendly. We do host vanilla nights every week. So.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I didn't want to ask it. It was in the back of my mind. I was like, all right, do I bring up the PS5 issue here? I know it can be content. I don't get it. We're a community is a community. So who cares as long as you can operate and you can pull your weight on the line and do your role, then I think you're good to go. So that's encouraging to me because I know there is, like I said, a lot of excitement and it's growing. A lot of guys, even though the winter sale is over, they're still picking up the game with their gift cards. So I expect the community to just keep swelling into the first quarter. Now, with that in mind, is there any particular event that stands out in your operational minds here? Like, what's one PV match or even one training scenario that was really exciting or humorous even? What really stands out to you guys in terms of your experiences in game?
So Potato kind of mentioned this earlier when he said we were holding Lumbermill. Lumbermill was an objective we were trying to hold, and we were on NATO, they were on Russian, and man, we fought like hell. It was a constant battle for probably an hour and a half. There was a couple 2-minute pauses we would get before another helicopter would come in, but we held that point the entire game and never let it go. That's probably my most memorable operation, I guess you could call it.
One by one. It was like every 10 minutes one of us would die and then we would respawn and try and bring supplies back so that way we could respawn there. But yeah, that one was pretty good.
I'm pretty sure we were fighting the whole team. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, 'cause they kept throwing. Like I mean, body after body. It was pretty wild.
Feeling the
pressure. And there was tanks and helicopters and strafing runs. It was chaos.
That's I know the lumber mill. I think that personally, I think it's a really fun area to fight around. But yeah, I mean, when you're pinned and when you're taking it from every which way, man, every direction, yeah, it's you sweat, simulation or not. So, yeah, my hats go off to you for holding out. Now, Let's talk about the general SOC community and your culture here. So we got some information about your own experiences, your events here. Let's look at the greater picture. Whether you're on Discord, whether you're chatting, whether you're in game, how do you describe the camaraderie between your soldiers and how that translates to not only, like I said before, the experienced soldiers, but the new guys who might be coming in.
It's definitely a brotherhood. We do have a rank structure, and you're expected to know the rank structure, but we don't require you to call me, First Sergeant Deuces or whatever. But everyone helps everyone. As soon as you get in our server, there'll be, if it's not one of us, one of our members will be like, hey, what role do you want to play? What are you new? How can we help you? Like, it's it's definitely a brotherhood, and everyone is on kind of the same level. We all respect each other equally. We do have a rank structure, like I said, but it's pretty brotherhood like.
Yeah, that's cool. So yeah, I mean, definitely your team, and sounds like you really take that seriously in terms of developing and investing into yourselves and one another. So outstanding. Now, what are some of the challenges? I mean, you're up and coming, you're growing. You've got a variety of experienced players in the unit. So, with all that being said, what have some of the obstacles been, and how have you overcome them in developing USA SOC?
Um, one of the biggest obstacles is definitely the we I can't even say recruitment. It's more of the people who join and then they don't say anything in the Discord. They just it's very common. Like every Milsim I've ever played the last 10 years is that same way. I mean, they will recruit 10 people, five of them respond, and by the end of the week, there's only one guy left, and 2 weeks later, he's not responding no more. So a lot of that, but here lately, it's been the complete opposite. So I can't even complain about that, I guess, right now. But that's really one of the biggest obstacles.
So, not so much recruitment, but retention, or at least engagement, getting those green soldiers up to
Yeah,
speed.
it's more like
First
we'll
talk.
get them in, we'll play with them once or twice, they seem like they have a good time, and then we just don't hear back from them again.
Yeah, the ghosts. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a shame. I don't get it. I don't know if people just, they didn't have a good time, or if it was too much for them, or they're looking at their schedule and they're just thinking maybe, it was just kind of an impulse enlistment, if you will.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's frustrating, definitely. But you said now, I take it your recruitment is just going through the roof. Based on
Yeah,
what's
we're definitely starting to boom.
yeah,
It's
that's
been
great.
crazy.
Excellent, excellent.
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
especially since we're starting to actually work more with the community of other SF groups within Milsim units. First group and fifth group, we
hmm,
reached out to them and created a companionship essentially with them. So now we all operate together, and um, they're trying to what's a well, I can't even think of what I'm trying to say. We're trying to create a hub out of USASOC for all these SF groups to come together and to be able to play together. And so that's why if you see in our Discord, there's like first and fifth group channels or categories. It's for those guys to be able to reach out to each other and to us. Like they have general comms, so they can talk in that too, chat back and forth with us. We're in their Discords, and it's really just trying to get out that way too. We're expanding into PvE. We're trying to. Um, just because the community is basically based off of that. Hopefully, we can try and get PvP players from some of these PvE groups
hmm.
or an interest towards it. Because a lot of people, when they think PvP, they think more like CQB matches or like they don't ever think of Milsim versus Milsim conflict. And like that's our goal for the communities. We're trying to bring Milsim versus Milsim conflict matches like pretty competitively and constant. That's why we really ask all of our PvP players to be the best that they can because we want to be the best. That way, one day people will have to face us in a conflict match to,
Yeah.
prove it, I guess.
Like, oh shit.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
that's the
cool.
goal.
And that I mean, that's awesome that you bring that up because I didn't, to be honest with you, I didn't notice it on the Discord, but I wanted to ask you about, yeah, I know yes, USASOC now. I got it. Sorry, I'm a ground pounding grunt, so what do I know in terms of
It's
my
okay.
acronyms? But I'm enlightened. But with all that aside, in terms of your interaction with the broader Milsim community, I mean, it Armor Forger is huge. We've got over 300 units on Milsim units across different platforms, different game modes, or games, titles, I should say. So you've got a kind of like an operational, agreement with first and fifth group special forces. How else are you engaged with the greater community, and what does the future of your relations look like, for the unit?
Well, hopefully within like the next year or so, we can maybe find like a third group, seventh group, and a 10th group to fill the actual like rest of the rest of USASOC. So, whether they're PvE or PvP groups, like the first and fifth group, they're PvE, but a lot of their guys have actually been playing with us in the evenings and joining us in PvP matches. And so it's been fun working with them guys that way. Um, they I mean that's how I just reach out, just hey, like we're just trying to I reach out to specifically the special forces groups only because we're used to SOC, so I'm trying to keep it realistic there, I guess. But if any of the other guys have to chime in on that, they feel free.
So
Open
ultimately,
to.
I think,
Go ahead,
or you,
potatoes.
you go.
Go ahead.
All right. So ultimately, I think our end goal with what he was saying with finding more groups is that we kind of want to become like a hub where even if you didn't have a great experience with us, like say like you got recruited into the 10th SFG, which is our going to be our more so vanilla PvP unit, and you didn't have that fun there. You got all these other options, some that are PvP, some that are PvE, and they're all completely run different. So, like, say you didn't get along with some guys here, maybe you can go try out like this other group that's run completely different, and just have like share people in a way.
We're very open to any of the units. Whether you're Marines, whether you're a Russian Special Forces, we will work with you or we'll work against you, whatever you want to do. So we're very open to any unit that wants to get something going.
I haven't fixed it yet in the Discord, but there will be applications for first and fifth group, like within our welcome page. So when people join, they'll see our application and then they'll see first and fifth group. So hopefully one day if we do expand, into the other SF groups that those applications will also be there too. And like he said, they're their own command structure. Like they're a part of the USASOC command team, but they are still the commanders of fifth group or first group. Like that's their guys. We're not trying to overstep on any of that. We're just trying to create a big community for all these SF groups to get together, play together, swap guys. Hey, we need a medic. Can you spare one? Whatever it may be. Um, I just have to fix the Discord for that stuff. I just haven't had time. So, but I just wanted to chime in on that as well.
Sure, that sounds pretty exciting. So, I mean, you're growing up and out. Sounds like you really want to just kind of encompass the totality of the Milsim experience. Whether you're interested in this particular mode or that, or and like you said, community. That's what makes and breaks units. Leadership, of course, is crucial, but really the community as a whole. If players, if soldiers can adapt, improvise, overcome, if you'll pardon the cliche, but if they can handle all that, man, they can get through anything. Because like we were kind of alluding to earlier, there are ups, there are downs, good times and bad, but it's really the solid guys who invest, the talents they got to make it a success in the long term. So outstanding. I mean, I'm wishing you guys the best of luck. Seems like you're on a good course here, and I'm looking forward to seeing what comes up in the next year ahead. Now, what do you think about Milsim overall? And we talked about Reforger, having its second or third win now. Mentioned Arma 4. What do you see in terms of the evolution of Milsim gaming overall? Like, say, in the next year, the next 3, 5 years, even. What's in your imaginations?
I think that we'll probably only get bigger from here on out, not just like our community, but Milsim as a whole. There's more and more stuff, it seems like, coming out for existing games, whether that's through modding or through DLCs. And I just see more content coming out for all the games, so I think that Milsimming as a whole will probably only grow.
That, and now that PlayStation is kind of being incorporated into PC and Xbox, that's going to open so many more doors, and more than just Arma. I've seen a lot of games switch into the compatibility with all platforms, which is going to be huge.
Yeah, I mean, do you guys think that Milsim will become? I hate to use the term, but do you think it'll become more mainstream as we go forward next
Um,
year? A couple of years.
I hope so, for the simple fact that it's a great community. You learn a lot, and like a lot of for example, the biggest problem right now. I'm not singling out PlayStation players specifically. It's them and like people who come from Call of Duty. Like games
Mm,
like this are a totally different mindset,
yep.
totally different environment. They're played different. Like so
A lot
it's
bigger.
breaking that habit, and then if I feel like if you can learn a lot of knowledge from these mil sims, all right? Even like even if you're just in a group or play the games or not, like you can learn a lot that you can then translate back to Call of Duty, and you might be a better player. I mean, I
Mm.
sucked at Call of Duty, and then I played Arma for a year straight and went back to Call of Duty, and I don't even enjoy it because it's boring, and I don't understand like how people can enjoy it anymore, but. I really hope like with Bellum coming out, but
Yep.
like I know it's going to be a PC game, but I mean I'm excited for it, but
Oh yeah.
I really hope there's more games. I mean Reforger really was a groundbreaking thing for because the last like Bohemia game was like Operation Flashpoint Dragon Rising. Like
Yep.
I've beat that campaign, I don't know, 30 times because it was my favorite game growing up. It was just so like that's really where I took off was playing that. It was my first game ever, and then I got into like Frankie on PC watching him play DayZ mod, and then I got into Arma 2, strictly DayZ mod then, but I hope it just grows more because the community is great. Everybody in the community is generally awesome. So I look forward to it.
Roger that. I mean, definitely, Milsim has come a long way. I remember the Flashpoint days, 20 plus years now. But the excitement online, not just Arma, again, but with Bellum, with some of the other titles that are up and coming, some of the alphas that we're seeing, just the traffic, the web traffic, the videos on YouTube. I don't know. It seems like views are increasing, subscribers are increasing. Everybody, even if they're not interested in kind of getting neck deep into the experience, they're definitely checking it out. So yeah, we'll see what comes, man. I mean, anything's possible, and again, going back to the people behind it, the communities. I've always said that the Arma 3 is a great game. Vanilla Arma is great, but it's the community that makes the game what it is and its total form in terms of the mods, the server owners, the mission builders, scenario builders, etc. You get out of it what you put into it. So hopefully, the excitement will be contagious and continue to grow here across the community. So with that, I want to get. I mean, we've covered a lot, but I want to get into some of your personal insights here in terms of your favorite aspect of Milsim gaming. What it is, or what is it, I should say, that keeps you coming back and looking forward to the future.
Definitely the professionalism. Like I said, I'm a big on PvP. Playing the PvP servers as a single player, I mean, you're gonna run into the people that don't really care. No one really wants to work with you, and it just gets annoying. But when you get a community behind you, you can strategize, you can actually get something accomplished. So it's definitely the community and the professionalism that I enjoy. It's nice to get on and play with a bunch of people that have the same intent and actually doing something in the game, instead of just messing around playing out the boxes or whatever it may be.
For me, it's the definitely the community. It's the boys, like I'm at work all day and I'm just like, man, I can't wait to go home and fucking hit on some Russians tonight with my friends. So that for me, it's really just the community. Like I said before, we're real tight knit, close. Like we all know each other, not in person. Some of us may, but like, I have like my actual friends in person in here. I know that Frog, he has some friends in here too. So it's just like we're really like a small family, and everybody who comes in, we try and make them feel like close, like they're at home. That way it's a good environment for everybody.
So yeah, like-minded, close-knit, getting the job done.
For me, it would probably be the firefights and then the teamwork, because sometimes it feels like when you're just playing by yourself, doesn't matter how good you do, if the rest of your team is just single-handedly throwing the match trying to conquer a useless point when you got no other good points. And for me, that was one of the biggest infuriating parts. And then you start working together in a team, and then you realize that you're far more effective with the team than you ever were by yourself. Like you can just with like 2, 3 guys working with it, you're probably like 4 or 5 times more effective than you would be by yourself.
Yep, yep. Force multiplication. That's cool. All right, so you play a lot of a lot of conflict. You're getting into PVE. I mean, you've like I said, you've run the gamut of experiences in game. Now, if you could design like your single greatest operation or mission, what would your dream operation look like? Any mode, the canvas is wide open.
Can I go first, guys?
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
Okay, cool. So my dream, like operation, is to have 3 squadrons of 12 people, all right? And you're gonna have your assaulting, your reconnaissance, and your support. So that way, like fresh match starts, everybody's gonna load up in a vehicle and they're gonna go capture the first couple points. And then once they get to these points, then everybody in C will start running supplies and building them up. Everybody in the reconnaissance is going to be out like in the enemy territory, placing mines on supply routes by supply points, using those 50 cal Humvees to shoot supply trucks as they come and try and deliver supplies. And then you're going to have your assaulting squadron break up into like either 2 6-man teams or 3 4-man teams, whatever. It just really depends on that day, I guess. But break them up and then send them to attack objectives, or maybe even keep them as a whole squad of 12 to just absolutely decimate every single point they go to. But and then at the same time as those guys are doing their job, we want to have CAS pilots calling in airstrikes and stuff like that because of the. All right, thank God to RHS for what they do for the modding community. It
Mm.
alone is amazing. Being able to call in an airstrike on an objective that you're about to assault, is really is goated in my eyes because you can clear it out and then push in and capture, and they can't do anything about it. That's the dream operation. That's what we're like shooting for. And at the same time as us playing, we would like to incorporate our other, if they're interested, our other groups within, like fifth, even other PvE groups. Like being able to bring them in as well and say, hey, like you guys this is your task. Go get these 2 objectives for us. That way we can just absolutely decimate the enemy. So that's really my dream operation. I can't speak for the guys.
Sounds like fun to me.
My dream operation is pretty simple. I want a whole 62-man team where everyone has a job and everyone's doing their job. Win or lose, that's my goal.
That's Milsim for you. Good stuff.
For me, it would be you got your team of 64. You can get 5 teams of 12, And then you could have one recon team, which would kind of be like what I was talking about earlier, which would be like running back in the back line with the 50 cal Humvees, just tearing stuff up, not letting the Russians build anything up. And then you got 3 assaulting teams, which would be like the 12-man squads that could go up to any point and just go cap it, or split them into 3 4-man teams each. And then you got a 4-man team, a fire support team, which would probably be like all of the majors. And then you'd have those guys going around to objectives or being attached to like one of the assaulting squads and just calling down airstrikes before the squad goes in.
Either way, guys, it sounds pretty intense. I'd have to be a little concerned about my FPS, but all the same, sounds like a lot of fun. I mean, hell yeah. I mean, firefights, when the lead is flying, man, that's when it gets good. I mean, it gets a little hairy, but yeah, that's when your senses come alive. So sounds like fun. Hopefully we'll see more. Get some media out there and some closer insights into your operations on the servers. Now, with that being said, are there any traditions, any rituals or kind of customs to USASOC that you're able to share with us? I mean, what stands out in terms of your culture as a unit? Any humorous moments in past events even?
I can name a funny moment right now. First week that I met garden potatoes here, we started doing this little Humvee plan, and for 2 days straight, because generally the servers we play on is generally the same people getting on every day, so it's like you're facing the same people. So 2 days straight after we had been terrorizing them at their bases in the back, I mean they literally mined every road out of our main base. Like you could
Yeah.
like you would hit a mine and then drive, and you would like they were just I can't even explain how many mines there were because it was literally insane.
Hmm.
Like they were like, fuck these guys, we're gonna have to stop them leaving their base.
Yeah, they were not happy with us. Like how he was saying, we were terrorizing them with the 50 cals, but then they started placing landmines and like strips of 3 at pretty much like every point, every intersection, and like every street. You couldn't go more than 10 feet. They kept that up for like a day or two. We stopped doing the Humvees, and then we went right back to doing it again the second they stopped.
Eye for an eye. So yeah, not so much a tradition per se, but definitely you bring the violence, you take it, you keep going. So it is kind of funny, actually.
Yeah, it was just kind of a funny thing.
Yeah.
That we got that big of a reaction just by us. Like at the time, I think it was just 4 or 5 of us.
I
One
think we
thing that I
pissed
should
them off.
add is we like Booby said earlier, we teach all of our soldiers every aspect of the combat. Teaching some of these guys to fly is comical, because flying a helicopter in Arma Reforger is not very easy if you don't know what you're doing.
Mm.
So teaching these guys to fly, it gets pretty chaotic.
I
So-
love it,
I
though.
could fly before they
I love
changed
it.
everything.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's the thing. You guys are developing, training your new guys, so it's just a matter of time. Give them some practice. Practice makes perfect. But I'm sure that as the experiences develop and as your unit grows there, you'll just expand with the different lessons learned, the lesson learned in the traditions and all that. Now, is there a particular military movie or a series, even a TV show that you think captures the spirit of USASOC?
Definitely not a military movie, but probably like Spaceballs.
Dude, it's classic. I don't get it. I don't see how it fits, but I'll use my imagination.
You see, you know how it's like it's just like a knockoff version of Star Wars. Everything's
Yep,
goofy
yep.
looking.
It's hilarious.
That's essentially who we all are. We're every goofball in that movie.
I got to say, who's Barf?
I
Flop.
don't know.
That's Frog. These guys are kind of young. They might not know what Spaceballs is, but
Yeah, I was gonna say
I know what Spaceball is.
as a
It's
first
one of
sergeant.
my favorite movies.
kind of fits, but that's hilarious.
Right.
Well, that's the best answer I've heard in a long time. Usually, it's like I talk to Rangers, it's like, yeah, Black Hawk down, or I'll talk to infantry units, and it's like, yeah, the outpost. I've never heard Spaceballs for a Milsim kind of spirit movie, but that's hilarious. So I think it's great. Definitely, you gotta have fun at the end of the day. I
Yeah,
mean, being
that's the most
hardcore, being
important rule.
serious, accomplishing those objectives, that means something. But, like I said, there are ups and downs. So if you can laugh it off no matter what, and that's the thing with Arma, with warfare, you got to be able to laugh it off. So I think that's pretty cool. All right, gentlemen. Well, we've covered a hell of a lot here this evening. We're almost at 45 minutes, and definitely we got more time to talk. But I wanted to ask you before we start wrapping up here. What's one thing that you want our audience members to know about USASOC that they might not realize?
We're friendly. We accept everyone. Whether you're new at the game or not, we'll teach you, or you can teach us. If you have a command structure inside your head, then we will put you on command. We will find a spot for everyone and
Yeah, yep,
make sure that
exactly.
it's
We're
it's what you want to do. We're not going
we're
to force
always
you to be a
looking.
pilot if you don't want to be a pilot. If you want to be a medic, you can be a medic. If you want to be a pilot, you can be a pilot, whether you're good or bad.
Yeah,
We'll
we
make you
don't.
better.
We have no limitations on like we only have this many riflemen or this many medics. It's because like I said, especially when we play our PvP matches, everybody knows how to play every role. So it's kind of just like, hey, who's running the 240? Me. All right, I'm a medic and I got two spare mags for you in my bag. We're ready to step off type deal. It's never like, hey, we require you to pick a role, but generally it's you learn everything. So, you kind of stick to what you pick, but we really we're really lenient on it still.
Getting it done. That's cool. Now, is there anything that we haven't talked about tonight that you want people to know about in terms of USASOC, about the greater community, about what you're looking forward to in the unit and beyond in the future?
I'm just looking forward to grow. I mean, like we said, if you're looking for an opportunity to be able to lead people because where you're at isn't making it work or whatever, shoot us a DM, join the Discord, whatever. Like we're willing to work with anybody. We don't really allow like the double simming specifically, but um, if you have issues where you're currently at, like you work that out with your current situation, and then especially if you want to be a leader within our unit, we teach you our way to be a leader, and we don't want you tainted, I guess. So really, just if you want to be a leader, if you want to be a soldier, if you want to be a part of a team, a community, a family of people who just generally love playing the game, this is definitely a good spot for you. Like I said, we're growing. We're trying to eventually grow into all the SF groups and have a PvP section for each of them. Um, and just stop in, apply. It's the worst thing that can happen is there's every group is will be in here at some point, so you'll find a home for you.
Outstanding. Well, yeah, it sounds like you guys got room for a lot of different players from different aspects, different experiences, and like we were talking about, PS5 has opened its doors to Reforger now. So if you're thinking about it, if you are curious, definitely check USASOC out. Take a look at their Discord, and consider taking your experience up to the next level. Coming from Milsim background myself, I mean, I can't imagine just going out and being a loner on the pubs anymore. I mean, I can survive, I can handle myself, but really the fun is in the community, like we were talking about earlier. So, really good information, gentlemen. I've learned a lot. Hopefully, our audience has, and I'm sure that you'll get a lot more interest and attention as we go forward here. You're going to contribute to the growth to the community in Armor Reforger, and again, I'm looking forward to seeing what comes ahead. Now, with that, how can people get involved? I'll post a Discord link in the channel or the video description below. But if somebody wants to push the button to sign on that dotted line, how do they get involved with USASOC as a soldier?
Number one on milsimunits.com. That's how. Go to Milsim Units, go to Armor Forger, and you'll see us at the top of the list. I make sure that we're there every day, so that way, if you're looking, we're at the top. So that's the best way. If not, we're in the Facebook groups. We're always posting our Discord link. I mean, absolutely,
Instagram.
literally just, yeah, Instagram, Facebook. I have a Twitter account. I haven't posted yet to it, but we're on there. We're on YouTube. I haven't posted much yet because I just don't have time to video edit, but that's coming. So we'll be
You can find
everywhere
us in the
eventually.
pubs.
Yeah, you can find us in the pubs. We play a lot of like WCS, but we also play like a lot of vanilla. Like there's a couple 100 player vanilla servers that we like to hop on, or even just regular Bohemia servers. Either way, you'll catch us. Just look for USASOC in the squad name. That's usually what we change it to.
Excellent. All right, gentlemen. Well, it has been a pleasure. Captain Hill, Lieutenant Potatoes, First Sergeant the Frog, gentlemen. Great to have you. Looking forward to getting this up on the Milsim Units YouTube channel for our podcast number 7. Thank you so much for having us. Again, I just looking forward to seeing the future and watching you guys kind of marching side by side with the other units out there.
Absolutely. We
Yes,
appreciate
sir. Thank you
the
guys
opportunity.
for having
Yeah,
us.
thank you for
real.
having us.
Sure thing. All right, ladies and gents. Well, that's all we've got for tonight. I got a couple more podcasts in the works that we'll have coming out in the days and weeks ahead. So looking forward to talking with all of you later on. Hopefully, my throat will be in a little bit better shape. But until that time, ladies and gentlemen, this is C. Brock signing off.